Hello everyone. Welcome to a fascinating journey into the world of biology. Today, we are diving into a crucial topic from your ICSE Class 9 Biology syllabus, economic importance of bacteria and fungi, specifically focusing on their impact on joints. You might be surprised to learn how these tiny organisms can have a big effect on our body's movement and overall economy. We'll explore this topic across 4 levels: easy, medium, hard, and hardest, building your understanding step by step. Let's get started. Ready to discover how those invisible microbes can mess with your ability to move and groove? Let's begin our easy exploration. First, let's understand what joints are. Simply put, joints are the amazing connections between our bones that allow us to bend, twist, and move. Think of your knees, elbows, and even your fingers, that they are all joints. Now, meet our tiny friends, microbes. These include bacteria and fungi, which are microscopic organisms all around us and even inside us. While many are harmless, some are pathogens, meaning they can cause sickness and disease. Unfortunately, these tiny troublemakers can sometimes find their way into our joints. When they do, they cause an infection, leading to pain, swelling, and difficulty in moving. This isn't just uncomfortable, it has a real-world cost. When you're sick with a joint infection, you might miss school, or adults might miss work, leading to lost productivity and medical bills. This is what we mean by negative economic importance, the cost of dealing with these microbial issues. Let's look at some examples. Bacteria, like those causing common skin infections, can sometimes travel to your joints and cause what's called septic arthritis. This is a very serious condition because bacteria can quickly damage the joint if not treated fast. Imagine the pain and the struggle to even walk. Fungi, though less common, can also lead to joint infections, especially in people whose body defenses are a bit weak. These infections also cause pain and limit movement. The economic importance here is clear. These infections require doctor visits, medicines, and sometimes even hospital stays, all of which cost money. Plus, the time lost from daily activities or work has an economic impact. So, these tiny microbes, when they turn pathogenic, can cause significant health problems and financial burdens. Time for some quick questions to check your understanding of the basics. 1. What is the main function of a joint in the human body? 2. Can you name 2 types of microbes that can cause joint infections? And 3. Why are joint infections considered a negative economic importance? Pause the video, think about your answers, and then rejoin us as we move to the next level. Now, let's go a bit deeper into how these microbial invaders affect our joints and the real-world consequences. Joint infections, also known as infectious or septic arthritis, occur when bacteria or fungi invade the synovial fluid, the lubricating liquid inside our joints, and the surrounding tissues. The most frequent culprits are bacteria, particularly Staphylococcus aureus *, which can enter the joint through several routes. Imagine a cut on your skin getting infected. Those bacteria can sometimes travel through your bloodstream to a joint, a process called hematogenous spread. Another way is direct inoculation, such as during an injury where the joint is punctured, or even from a medical injection if not done sterilely. Lastly, an infection in a nearby bone or tissue can spread into the joint. While less common, fungi like Candida can also cause severe joint infections, especially in individuals with weakened immune systems. When a joint gets infected, the symptoms are usually quite severe: intense pain, significant swelling, redness, and warmth around the joint, making movement extremely difficult. You might also experience fever and chills, indicating a systemic infection. If these infections aren't treated quickly and effectively, the consequences can be devastating. The invading microbes and the body's own inflammatory response can rapidly destroy the delicate cartilage that cushions the bones in the joint, and even erode the bone itself. This can lead to permanent joint damage, chronic pain, and long-term disability, severely impacting a person's quality of life and ability to perform daily activities. The economic impact of these infections is substantial. First, there are significant direct healthcare costs. This includes expenses for diagnosis, such as blood tests, imaging like X-rays, and the crucial joint fluid analysis. Hospitalization, often for several days or weeks, is common, along with the cost of powerful antibiotics or antifungals. Sometimes, surgery is needed to clean out the infected joint. Beyond direct medical expenses, there are considerable indirect costs. Patients often need prolonged time off from work or school, leading to lost income and reduced economic productivity. Family members might also need to take time off to care for the patient. In cases of permanent damage, the need for long-term rehabilitation or even future joint replacement surgery adds further financial strain. Therefore, preventing these infections through good hygiene and prompt treatment of other body infections is vitally important. Let's test your understanding at the medium level. First, what is synovial fluid and why is it important for joints? Second, describe the distinct ways bacteria can enter a joint to cause infection. Third, can you name one common bacterium and one common fungus that are known to cause joint infections? Fourth, how do joint infections negatively impact an individual's economic well-being? And fifth, why is prompt and effective treatment essential for joint infections? Take your time to answer these questions. Alright, let's elevate our understanding. We are now moving into the hard level, where we'll dissect the intricate details of microbial joint infections. At a deeper level, the pathogenesis of microbial joint infections involves a complex interplay. Once microbes proliferate within the joint, they trigger an intense inflammatory response. Our immune cells, in their effort to fight the infection, release powerful enzymes and cytokines. While intended to eliminate the pathogens, these substances can also inadvertently cause significant damage to the synovial membrane, the articular cartilage, and the bone beneath it. Bacterial enzymes, like proteases, directly break down the vital components of cartilage, leading to rapid destruction. Fungal infections, often more chronic, might induce a granulomatous response, causing persistent inflammation and gradual erosion of joint structures. Understanding these mechanisms is crucial for effective treatment. Let's look at some specific agents. Among bacteria, Staphylococcus aureus is the most common culprit, often linked to skin infections. Streptococcus species can also cause rapidly destructive arthritis. Neisseria gonorrhoeae is a key pathogen in sexually active young adults, often affecting multiple joints. For fungi, Candida species are the most frequent cause of fungal arthritis, particularly in hospitalized or immunocompromised patients. Endemic fungi like coccidioides can also cause chronic arthritis, usually spreading from a lung infection. Diagnosing these infections relies heavily on synovial fluid analysis, where fluid is drawn from the joint and examined for high white blood cell counts, low glucose, and high protein levels, along with gram stain and culture to identify the specific microbe. Blood tests and imaging like MRI also provide critical information. The economic burden of joint infections can be categorized into direct and indirect costs. Direct costs are the immediate financial outlays, hospital stays, doctor fees, expensive medications like intravenous antibiotics or antifungals, diagnostic tests, and potentially surgical procedures like arthroscopy to clean the joint. Indirect costs, however, are often far greater and more pervasive. These include lost wages due to prolonged illness and disability, reduced productivity if the individual returns to work with limitations, the financial strain on family caregivers, and the long-term expenses for rehabilitation or even future joint replacement surgeries. The impact can be lifelong, leading to chronic pain, restricted movement, and the development of osteoarthritis. Therefore, prevention through meticulous sterile techniques in medical settings and prompt treatment of systemic infections is paramount, not just for individual health, but for societal economic well-being. Now for some challenging questions. First, explain the mechanism by which microbial joint infections lead to cartilage and bone damage. Second, differentiate between hematogenous and direct inoculation routes of infection for bacteria. Third, list 3 specific bacterial pathogens and 2 fungal pathogens commonly implicated in joint infections. Fourth, describe the primary diagnostic method for joint infections and what information it provides. Fifth, distinguish between direct and indirect economic costs associated with joint infections. Sixth, why might fungal joint infections be more challenging to diagnose than bacterial ones? And seventh, what are some long-term consequences of untreated or poorly managed joint infections? Good luck! Welcome to the hardest level. Here, we'll delve into the most intricate scientific and economic aspects of microbial joint infections, pushing your understanding to competitive depths. The pathophysiology of microbial joint infections is a complex dance between pathogen virulence and host response. Pathogens like Staphylococcus aureus poses virulence factors such as superantigens and exotoxins, which can trigger an overwhelming inflammatory cascade, leading to rapid tissue destruction. Furthermore, certain bacteria can form biofilms on joint surfaces or prosthetic implants, creating a protective matrix that shields them from antibiotics and immune cells, making eradication extremely difficult. Fungi, particularly in immunocompromised individuals, can induce a chronic, granulomatous inflammation, slowly eroding joint structures. Understanding these specific mechanisms is vital for developing targeted therapies. This deep dive into how microbes cause damage helps us appreciate the complexity of the body's defense systems and the ingenuity of microbial survival strategies. Advanced diagnostics are crucial for effective management. While traditional synovial fluid culture remains the gold standard, molecular techniques like polymerase chain reaction, or PCR, are increasingly employed. PCR can rapidly detect microbial DNA directly from joint fluid, even for fastidious organisms that are difficult to culture or in cases where antibiotics have already been started. Serological tests can also assist in diagnosing specific fungal or bacterial, example, Lyme disease, arthritides. Imaging modalities such as high-resolution MRI provide detailed visualization of soft tissue and bone involvement, aiding in early detection of damage and guiding surgical interventions. However, a significant challenge lies in differentiating infectious arthritis from sterile inflammatory conditions like gout or pseudogout, often requiring a comprehensive evaluation combining clinical presentation, laboratory findings, and imaging results. This multimodal approach is key to accurate diagnosis and preventing irreversible joint damage. Therapeutic strategies for joint infections are aggressive and often multi-pronged. They typically involve a combination of prolonged intravenous antimicrobial therapy, tailored to the identified pathogen and its susceptibility profile, and surgical intervention. Arthroscopic lavage and debridement are common procedures to remove pus, necrotic tissue, and microbial load. A major challenge is the rising prevalence of antimicrobial resistance, particularly with pathogens like MRSA or ESBL producing gram-negative bacteria, which necessitate the use of broader spectrum or combination antibiotic regimens, often with increased toxicity or cost. For fungal infections, treatment involves extended courses of antifungal agents, which can also have significant side effects. Infected prosthetic joints present a particularly difficult scenario, frequently requiring a two-stage surgical approach, initial removal of the infected prosthesis, followed by a period of antimicrobial treatment, and then reimplantation of a new prosthesis. This highlights the complexity and resource-intensive nature of managing these severe infections. From a public health perspective, joint infections contribute significantly to global disease burden. Risk factors are diverse, including advanced age, chronic diseases like diabetes and rheumatoid arthritis, intravenous drug use, and immunosuppression. These infections lead to substantial healthcare expenditures, prolonged hospitalizations, and a significant reduction in patient quality of life. The global economic impact is immense, encompassing direct medical costs and indirect costs such from lost productivity and the need for long-term care. In low and middle-income countries, this burden is often exacerbated by limited access to diagnostics, expensive treatments, and inadequate surgical expertise, leading to higher rates of complications and permanent disability, further entrenching cycles of poverty. Therefore, continuous surveillance of resistance patterns, development of new antimicrobials, and robust public health interventions are critical to mitigating the widespread impact of microbial joint infections. Now, let's tackle the first 5 of our hardest questions. 1. Discuss the role of bacterial virulence factors and host immune response in determining the outcome of a microbial joint infection. 2. How do molecular diagnostic techniques like PCR enhance the diagnosis of joint infections compared to traditional culture methods? 3. Explain why distinguishing between infectious arthritis and sterile inflammatory conditions can be diagnostically challenging. 4. Detail the typical therapeutic approach for a bacterial joint infection, emphasizing the interplay between antimicrobial therapy and surgical intervention. And 5. Analyze the specific challenges posed by antimicrobial resistance in the treatment of joint infections, using examples like MRSA or ESBL producing bacteria. Take your time to formulate comprehensive answers. Moving on to our final 5 challenging questions. 6. Describe the process of biofilm formation on prosthetic joints and explain why it significantly complicates treatment. 7. How do the public health implications of joint infections extend beyond individual patient care, particularly in resource-limited settings? 8. Evaluate the long-term socio-economic consequences for an individual and their family following a severe, complicated joint infection. 9. Discuss potential future directions in the management and prevention of microbial joint infections, considering emerging threats and research areas. And 10. Compare the economic impact of microbial joint infections in high-income versus low-income countries, highlighting the contributing factors to the disparity. These questions require critical thinking and a deep understanding of the topic. And that concludes our in-depth exploration of the economic importance of bacteria and fungi regarding joints. We've journeyed from basic concepts to advanced scientific and economic insights. If you found this content valuable and want to continue expanding your knowledge, head over to synapse.omaps.in for more engaging educational resources. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for regular updates and new lessons. Your support helps us create more content like this. Thank you for learning with us, and see you in the next session.